So how much of an increase in monthly benefits will you be receiving next month? Well, one of the ways in which the current government is looking to help low-income families and families gain some financial relief amid the crisis is through a tax break. It's called the Earned Income Tax Credit, or EITC. You can be eligible for the tax relief if you file little or no taxes, although you will need to submit your tax returns to cause the credit payment to occur.
So I told you something about that. I can talk more about it if you want. But we must continue to reduce our dependence on goods made in other countries, especially countries of concern, and bring production back home. Said one was the 52 billion for chips. The second was 45 billion for the supply chain.
This initiative allows those eligible to eliminate any federal tax owed when it comes to the time of filing returns. If the earned income tax credit amount is going to be more than you owe in taxes, that money will be returned on your tax refund. Those who qualify for the credit can still get a refund even income tax is not owed. Now, there is some new information that has also been released for anyone who received unemployment benefits during the crisis. In 2020, the IRS helped citizens that collected unemployment benefits from paying taxes during the 2021 tax season. But unemployment benefits don't apply as taxable income in today's tax season. Last year, approximately 25 million people collected unemployment benefits granted by the federal government. More than 40 million people obtained unemployment benefits in 2020. Nevertheless, Congress didn't approve a similar tax break for 2021. Tax season began on January 24th and the deadline is April 18th in the majority of states. Congress could indeed pass bills to help the taxpayers in their 2022 files. But since lawmakers are more focused on getting a fourth stimulus check passed, it is unknown whether Congress will decide to pass a bill that will help taxpayers this year. The U.S. economy has been making a slow recovery. The job market rebounded significantly since early 2021, and the national unemployment rate is 3.9%, which is the lowest figure since February 2020. Plus, unemployment benefit claims decreased to pre-crisis levels. According to Mark Stieber, the Chief Tax Information Officer at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, there's a way to collect unemployment benefits in 2021 as taxable income, but there are some restrictions. For instance, if a household didn't realize that unemployment income was taxed, they could be hit with some shock. With voluntary withholding, a flat 10% can be withheld on unemployment benefits, but that might not be enough to cover tax liability, especially if somebody had income at the front end of the year and got reemployed. Individuals who did not withhold taxes from unemployment benefits may not receive as large of a refund or probably will be paying more out of pocket. Senate Democrats have also unveiled a plan to increase monthly Social Security benefits, veterans assistance, SSI benefits by $200 a month. It could also further add to a fourth stimulus bill. Chuck Schumer also joined Ron Wyden, the senior Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, and Elizabeth Warren in calling for the expanded benefits to be added to a stimulus bill. The additional benefits would provide seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities an extra $4,000 over the next 2 years. According to Schumer, immediately increasing Social Security benefits would put money in the pockets of seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities during these uncertain times. Senate Democrats are committed to making this thing happen. Warren said that Social Security benefits will get money directly to people quickly. The bill would also provide a 2% across-the-board increase in benefits for the 64 million people on Social Security. Folks, thank you again for your support, and until next time, have a great day.
A box of groceries. And when they drive up, the volunteers there would stand there, the driver would pop open the trunk, and the volunteer would put a box of food in the car. And invariably, as the volunteers explained and described it to me, in the middle of that empty trunk, the volunteer would see a handwritten note sitting in the trunk, written out to the volunteers to thank them for their labor, for their work. The volunteers would describe that sometimes that trunk would pop open, that empty trunk, and there'd be a $5 or a $10 bill. Now let us be clear. The driver of that car was very likely just barely holding everything together, or could have lost everything they have. But they still showed such remarkable kindness, such generosity when they seemingly had nothing to give, such grace. It is said a candle shines brightness, and most brightly in the darkness. I believe the same is true of faith. And it is that faith that fuels me to say now, and often as I do, so many times, that let us see, always guided by our faith, let us be able to see what can be, unburdened by what has been. And those words have deep spiritual roots for me. I grew up attending 23rd Avenue Church of God in Oakland, California. And one of the important places there is where I learned to believe in what is possible. And that we each have the ability to achieve what is possible. After all, as I know we have all learned and been taught, faith is not passive. Faith motivates action. It lifts us up and it gives us purpose.
$76 trillion, a surplus of $2.76 trillion, and can pay out benefits to every eligible American for the next 19 years to the year 2033. So anyone who comes forward and says Social Security has gone broke, it is just factually not true. Social Security can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 19 years. And then we hear the argument, well, you know, we have a large deficit. Social Security is one of the causes of our deficit and our national debt, and that is absolutely inaccurate. Social Security has not contributed one nickel to our deficit or our national debt, because Social Security, as every worker in America knows, is independently funded through payroll tax contributions from workers and employers, 6.2% from each, and it does not receive funding from the federal treasury. So A, it's not going broke, B, it's not contributing to the deficit. But I will tell you this about Social Security. In an incredibly volatile economy, stock market goes up, stock market goes down, Social Security, from its inception 79 years ago, through good economic times and bad economic times, Social Security has paid out every nickel